By the time you reach 40, 50, or beyond, you are not just carrying the physical weight of your current body, you are carrying the immense, often crushing psychological weight of your history. When it comes to money, that history is rarely a clean slate for anyone in midlife. It is a scarred, complicated landscape of past decisions, missed opportunities, and painful, sometimes secret mistakes. You remember the house you bought at the peak of the market in 2006 that ended up underwater for a decade, trapping you in a mortgage you regretted. You remember the business idea you poured your savings into in your 30s that never got off the ground, leaving you with nothing but debt. You remember the credit card debt you racked up over 15 years of trying to maintain a lifestyle you couldn't afford to impress neighbors you didn't even like. Debt that you are still servicing today at exorbitant interest rates. You remember the hot stock tip you followed that went to zero. Maybe you are carrying the financial wreckage of a divorce that decimated your net worth, or medical bills from an illness that wiped out years of hard work in a matter of months. When you look at your finances today, you don't just see cold numbers on a screen. You see a museum of your past failures. You see a ledger of your regrets. And for many of us over 40, this historical baggage becomes a mental prison. We become convinced that our past dictates our future. We tell ourselves damaging narratives. I've always been bad with money, or I missed my chance when I was younger, or it's too late for me to change now. The die is cast, and this is just who I am. This mindset is a poison. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy that guarantees you will end your working life in poverty, anxiety, and regret. It keeps you paralyzed, afraid to look at your bank statements, afraid to open the mail, afraid to even dream of a better future because the weight of the past feels insurmountable. As we stand on the threshold of 2026, a new year, I want to offer you something more powerful than a simple budgeting tip or a stock recommendation. I want to offer you a total system reboot, a complete radical wipe of the hard drive of your financial life. A fresh start, regardless of the mistakes that haunt you. To do this, we must turn to the core philosophy of Warren Buffett. Now, many people think of Buffett as a man who has never made a mistake, a kind of financial robot who has only known unbroken success for 90 years. That is profoundly false. Buffett has made massive public mistakes that cost hundreds of millions, even billions of dollars. He bought a struggling textile mill called Berkshire Hathaway that was doomed to fail. His entire empire started as a mistake. He invested heavily in airlines, an industry known for destroying capital. He famously missed the entire tech boom of the 1990s. But what separates Buffett from the average person drowning in regret is his mental operating system regarding the past. He understands and intuitively applies a fundamental concept from economics called the sunk cost fallacy. He knows with absolute certainty that money lost, time wasted, and opportunities missed are gone forever. No amount of guilt, shame, worry, or anxiety will ever bring them back. Dwelling on them is not just useless, it is actively harmful to your present. Buffett lives his life looking through the massive windshield of the future, not the tiny rearview mirror of the past. He understands that every single morning when he wakes up, the game resets. The board is clear. The only things that matter are the capital he has available today, the knowledge he possesses today, and the rational decisions he makes today. If you are over 40 and carrying a mountain of financial baggage, you need to adopt this mentality if you want to survive. You need a financial reset for 2026. This is not just about moving numbers around on a spreadsheet or downloading a new budgeting app. It is about fundamentally, psychologically changing your relationship with your own history and deciding consciously that your past does not own your future. This is a deep dive process. It is not for the faint of heart. It is going to require you to do hard emotional and practical work that most people avoid their entire lives. We are going to go through 4 distinct sequential phases of the Buffett-inspired reset. If you follow them with courage and discipline, 2026 will not be just another year of struggling. It will be your year 0. The year everything changed. Phase 1. The emotional detox, forgiving the past self. Before we can touch your bank accounts, we have to touch your mind. You cannot build a prosperous future on a rotting foundation of shame and self-loathing. For millions of people over 40, shame is the dominant silent emotion surrounding money. It manifests in insidious ways. It's the knot in your stomach when the bill comes at dinner. It's the defensive anger you feel when your spouse wants to talk about the budget. It's the energy you spend pretending to be more successful than you are. You feel stupid for the debt you carry. You feel embarrassed that you have less savings than your peers, or less than you pretend to have. You feel anger at yourself for the decisions you made 10 or 20 years ago that led you here. This shame keeps you stuck. It thrives in the dark. It makes you want to hide from your finances to avoid the reality. It makes you self-medicate with retail therapy, buying things on credit to temporarily soothe the pain of feeling broke, which only digs the hole deeper. Warren Buffett does not operate from shame. He operates from cold, rational, objective analysis. When a mistake happens, he diagnoses it without emotion, learns the lesson, and immediately moves on. He does not wallow. He does not beat himself up. To reset for 2026, you must perform a radical emotional detox. First, you have to admit the unvarnished truth of your situation without judgment. You have to look at the debt number, the savings number, the income number, and see them just as data points on a page, not as moral verdicts on your character as a human being. You are not a bad person because you have credit card debt. You are a person who made certain decisions under certain circumstances that led to that specific mathematical result. The math doesn't judge you. It just is. Second, and this is the hardest part, you must radically forgive your past self. The person you were at 30, who leased that expensive car to impress a girl, or who put that family vacation on a credit card because you felt guilty, didn't know what you know now. Maybe they were under immense career stress. Maybe they were trying to save a crumbling marriage through spending. Maybe they were just financially illiterate because no one ever taught them how money works. You have to let that person off the hook. You have to sever the emotional tie. You have to say, literally out loud in front of a mirror if you have to, I forgive myself for the financial mistakes I made in the past. I did the best I could with the tools and knowledge I had at the time. That person is gone. Today is a new day, and I am in charge now with new knowledge. This is not woo-woo self-help nonsense. This is practical, necessary psychology. Until you stop wasting your mental energy beating yourself up for the past, you will not have the energy, the clarity, or the confidence to build the future. You have to declare emotional bankruptcy on your past debt, so you can start fresh. If Buffett dwelled every day on the billions he lost by not investing in Amazon or Google early, he would be paralyzed with regret. Instead, he focuses his entire being on finding the next great opportunity based on the facts of today. You must do the same with your life. The money you wasted in your 30s is gone. It is ashes. Let the wind take it. Phase 2. The zero-based life audit. Once you have cleared the emotional fog and stopped the self-blame, it's time for the brutal, practical reset. Most people, when they try to fix their finances in midlife, do what is called incremental budgeting. They look at what they spent last year and try to painfully trim it by 5 or 10% here and there. This rarely works for people in a midlife financial crisis because their entire baseline lifestyle is bloated and calcified with 20 years of accumulated habits, assumptions, and obligations that they no longer even question. Buffett is famous for his approach to capital allocation and business budgeting. He prefers zero-based budgeting. Every year, a manager cannot just take last year's budget and add 3% for inflation. They have to start at zero, with a blank slate, and justify every single dollar of expense as if they were building the department from scratch today, based on current realities. For your 2026 reset, you are going to apply zero-based budgeting to your entire life. This is a terrifying but liberating exercise. Forget what you spent last month. Forget what you think your lifestyle should be. Imagine you woke up tomorrow morning with your current income, but zero financial obligations. No house, no car, no subscriptions, no habits, no debt payments. You are standing naked in an empty room with your paycheck in your hand. Now, build your life back up from zero, piece by piece, justifying every single addition based only on what you truly need and value today in your 40s or 50s, not what you needed or wanted 10 years ago. Start with the big rocks. Shelter. Do you need the 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house in the expensive school district that you are currently struggling to pay for, heat, cool, and maintain? Maybe you bought it 15 years ago when the kids were young and the house was full of noise and life. But now the kids are gone or leaving soon and you are paying a fortune to heat empty rooms that gather dust. If you were moving to your city today as an empty nester, would you buy that specific house again right now? If the answer is a clear no, then that house is a legacy expense, a massive financial anchor from your past that is dragging down your future freedom. Put everything on the table: downsizing to a condo, renting a smaller place, moving to a cheaper neighborhood, or even a cheaper state. Next, transportation. Look at the 2 cars in your driveway, with their combined $1,100 monthly lease payments and high insurance premiums. If you had no cars today, would you go out and sign those exact leases again right now? Or would you buy a reliable, 5-year-old Toyota or Honda for cash and have 0 monthly payments? Justify the expense based on today's need for transportation, not past ego or status seeking. Go through everything with this ruthless filter. The country club membership you keep because you've always been a member but rarely use. The premium cable package with hundreds of channels you keep out of habit while you mostly watch Netflix. The expensive daily lunch routine with colleagues that you don't even enjoy. The life insurance policies you bought decades ago that may no longer be appropriate for your current situation. When you do a zero-based audit after 40, you realize with shock that your financial life is cluttered with expensive ghosts. You are paying thousands of dollars a year for a version of yourself and your family that no longer exists. Buffett's life is a testament to the power of this approach. He is one of the richest men on earth. He could afford literally anything, but his life remains incredibly, intentionally streamlined. He doesn't accumulate complexity. He lives in the same house, works in the same office, keeps his schedule open. He knows that complexity is expensive, not just in money, but in time, mental energy, and freedom. Your 2026 reset requires you to be absolutely ruthless. If an expense does not actively serve your survival, your health, or your core happiness right now, it does not get added back into your zero-based life. You will be shocked at how much money is freed up when you stop paying for your past and only pay for your present. Phase 3. Defining enough. The Buffett benchmark. We live in a culture that is obsessed with the concept of more. More money, bigger houses, newer cars, faster phones, more luxury vacations. We are on a hedonistic treadmill where as soon as we get what we want, the satisfaction fades almost instantly, and we immediately want the next level up. This treadmill is what keeps people working in jobs they hate until they drop dead. For people over 40 who are behind financially, the pursuit of more is a death sentence. You do not have the time or the runway to chase an ever-moving finish line. You will never catch it. To reset your financial life, you must define a completely new concept for yourself. Enough. Warren Buffett is arguably the world's greatest expert on enough. He has tens of billions of dollars at his disposal, yet his personal lifestyle costs less than many mid-level corporate executives who are drowning in debt. Why? Because he knows exactly what makes him happy, and he knows profoundly that beyond a certain point of comfort and security, more money adds zero additional utility or happiness to his life. He loves his work analyzing companies. He loves reading newspapers and reports. He loves playing bridge online with friends. He loves cherry Coke and a good steak. None of those things cost billions of dollars. He once famously said to a group of students, "There are some things I want, but I don't have a lot of wants. I have everything I need. I have a warm house, good friends, a great family. I don't need 20 houses to be happy." For your 2026 reset, you need to do the hard work of defining your own version of enough. Stop looking at Instagram and the curated lives of influencers. Stop looking at your neighbors and their new cars. Stop looking at what you thought your life would look like at 50 when you were 25. Look at what you actually need to be secure, content, and dignified in the second half of your life. What does a dignified retirement look like for you, realistically? Does it need to be world cruises every year and second homes in Florida? Or is it having a paid-off small home, good healthcare coverage, enough money for decent food and utilities, and the freedom with your time to spend with grandkids or pursue hobbies? The difference in the amount of capital required between those two visions is astronomical. If you define enough as the luxury lifestyle you see on TV, you will feel like a failure. The goal will seem impossible, and you will never even start trying to catch up. You will take desperate risks, trying to bridge the impossible gap. If you define enough as security, simplicity, freedom from debt, and dignity, suddenly the goal becomes achievable, even starting late. Buffett has another golden rule about risk that applies here. It's insane to risk what you have and need for something you don't really need. Many people over 40 risk their basic future security, what they need, by trying to chase a luxury lifestyle or get-rich-quick schemes, what they don't need. The 2026 reset is about aligning your financial life with what you truly need. Buffett knows the profound difference between being rich and being wealthy. Being rich is having a high income and spending it all on expensive toys to look successful. Being wealthy is having assets that support your life, giving you ownership of your time. You can be wealthy on a modest income if your needs are simple. You can be poor on a very high income if your needs are insatiable. The 2026 reset is about choosing wealth over riches. It's about choosing freedom over status. When you define enough, the math changes. You realize you don't need $5 million to retire. Maybe you need $500,000 combined with Social Security and a paid-off house. That goal is suddenly reachable in 15 years of focused, disciplined effort. The paralyzing anxiety drops away, replaced by a clear, actionable target. Phase 4. The action plan for year 0, 2026. You have done the hard work. You have forgiven your past self. You have audited your present life down to the studs. You have defined a realistic future based on enough. Now, what do you actually do when the ball drops on New Year's Eve? A reset is not just a mental exercise. It requires bold, physical action in the real world to signal to yourself and the world that things have changed forever. Here is your action plan for year 0, 2026. 1. The financial burn barrel ritual, January 1st, 7th. You need a physical ritual to mark the end of the old era and the beginning of the new. In the first week of January, you are going to physically close the accounts that represent your past mistakes. That department store credit card you opened 10 years ago to get 10% off a purchase and then maxed out and have been paying minimums on ever since? Pay it off immediately if you can, or move the balance to a lower interest loan and then close the account. Cut the card into pieces with scissors. It is a symbol of your past slavery to impulse. That savings account at the bank with high fees and 0.01% interest that you never use. Close it. That brokerage account full of speculative penny stocks that are down 90% that you keep hoping will come back. Sell the losers, take the tax loss, withdraw the remaining cash, and close the account. Admitting the loss is the first step to healing. Simplify your financial architecture radically. You want one main checking account for bills, one high-yield savings account for your emergency fund, and one main investment account, like an IRA or a simple brokerage account at a low-cost provider. Get rid of the clutter. Every account you close is a shackle you are removing from your past. 2. The one-number focus, January-March. Late starters often fail because they try to do everything at once. In a panic, they try to pay off the mortgage extra fast, save for their kids' college, max out their 401k, and build a 6-month emergency fund all simultaneously. The result is that they make millimeter progress in 10 different directions, feel overwhelmed, and feel like they are getting nowhere. Buffett believes in extreme focus. He says, the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. For the first quarter of 2026, you are going to choose one single crucial financial metric to move. What is the biggest fire burning in your financial life right now? Is it $20,000 in high-interest toxic credit card debt that is bleeding you dry? Then your one number is that debt balance. Every single spare dollar, every bit of energy, goes to attacking that number until it hits 0. You ignore investing. You ignore the mortgage. You kill the enemy at the gate. Is your debt manageable, but you have 0 savings and are one blown tire away from disaster? Then your one number is your emergency fund balance. Your sole focus is getting that to $5,000 or $10,000 to build a wall of security around your life. This singular focus creates powerful momentum. When you see that one number moving dramatically in the right direction month after month, you gain tremendous confidence. You prove to yourself that you have agency, that you can change your reality. 3. The automation of the new life, April onwards. Once the biggest fire is out and you have stability, you must ensure you never slide back into the old chaos. You cannot rely on willpower or memory to run your financial life. You are over 40. You are tired. Life will get in the way. Buffett's wealth was built on systems and principles, not daily decisions. He doesn't wake up every morning and decide whether to invest the insurance premiums from Geico. The system does it automatically. You must automate your new financial life completely. Set up automatic transfers on payday that move money directly to your savings or investment accounts before you ever see it. Set all your fixed bills to autopay from your checking account. You want to build a financial machine that works perfectly even when you are sleeping, even when you are sick, even when you are unmotivated or on vacation. Your new reset financial life should require almost zero active management from you. It should just work. 4. The anti-fragile career move. All year. A financial reset after 40 is not just about cutting back expenses. It's about protecting and maximizing your income engine. At this age, your biggest asset is not your 401k balance. It's the remaining 15 or 20 years of your human capital, your ability to earn a living. But as we get older, we become more fragile in the job market. Ageism is a real thing. Skills become obsolete faster than ever. Buffett is obsessed with moats in business, competitive advantages that protect a company from competitors. You need to build a personal professional moat. In 2026, part of your reset must be investing time and energy in your ability to earn. This doesn't mean going back to college for 4 years and taking on debt. It means identifying the one skill or certification in your industry that is most in demand, least likely to be automated by AI, and adds the most value, and spending the year mastering it. It might mean learning a new piece of critical software. It might mean shifting from a pure execution role to a more strategic or relationship-based role that is harder to replace with younger, cheaper workers. Do not coast in your career in your 40s and 50s. That is suicide. You need to be aggressive about making yourself indispensable, or at least highly employable, for the critical final decade of your working life. Conclusion: the power of day one. The hardest thing about being over 40 and struggling financially is the overwhelming feeling that your story is already written. You feel like the protagonist in a tragedy, destined to pay forever for the sins and mistakes of the first 2 acts of your life. But I am here to tell you today, with the full weight of Warren Buffett's philosophy behind me, that this is a lie. It is a story you are telling yourself. Your story is not over. The pen is still in your hand. Colonel Sanders was broke and living out of his car at age 65 before he franchised KFC. Ray Kroc was a 52-year-old milkshake machine salesman before he built McDonald's into a global empire. History is full of people whose first act was a disaster and whose second act changed the world, or at least changed their own lives and the lives of their families. You may not build a global empire. That is not the goal. But you can absolutely build a life of security, dignity, and peace. You can end the cycle of chaos. The reset for 2026 is an invitation. It is an invitation to step out of the dark shadows of your past and into the hard, clear light of your present reality. It is an invitation to stop being a victim of what happened to you or what you did to yourself 10 years ago. It is an invitation to become the active, conscious architect of your future. It will be hard. It will be humbling. You will have to swallow your pride. You will have to have difficult conversations with your family about the new reality. You will have to say no to things you used to say yes to. You will have to change your identity. But consider the alternative. The alternative is staying on the current path. The alternative is waking up at 65 with nothing, full of even deeper regret, dependent on a social safety net that may not be there for you, a burden to your children. Warren Buffett views every single day as day one. Every morning is a fresh opportunity to make rational decisions based on the facts at hand. 2026 is your day one. The past is a sunk cost. Forget it. Forgive it. Bury it. Look through the windshield. The road ahead is open. You have the map. You know the principles. Now, all that is left is for you to turn the key and drive. Welcome to your fresh start.